This 39-cent stock is having an amazing year and has gained about 1000% over the past 2 months. But that's not all. This company has a strategy in place that will see the share price run to over $4 in the coming months. At the start of 2021, Ilus International was trading at less than 1 cent, but they have now begun the process of getting uplisted onto the Nasdaq. And they are in the final stages of acquiring a 9-figure revenue company. Yes, this company is in the process of acquiring a company with revenues in the hundreds of millions of dollars. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button and follow me on Twitter. Now let's look at the latest news, what this news means going forward from an operational point of view, and then I will look at the plans to uplist to the Nasdaq and how exactly Ilus can achieve this. This has been another very good week for Ilus International. Before October, 2021 had already seen Ilus complete 4 acquisitions. Last weekend I spoke about Ilus having acquired 2 new companies that would be announced shortly, and the first of these for a Tennessee-based company came Wednesday evening. The second of these, which is the acquisition of a Georgia-based company, cannot be named yet until all employees are notified first. The Tennessee company in question has now been named as Bullhead Products. Ilus has agreed the acquisition of Bullhead Products for an undisclosed cash amount and a small amount of restricted shares. The acquisition is the smallest of Ilus' current round of US acquisitions, however it is of strategic importance for Ilus' manufacturing in the United States and it presents enormous growth potential. First of all, this company is already profitable in its own right, but the primary reason for acquiring Bullhead Products is the establishment of the company as Ilus' US manufacturer of the E-Raptor range of commercial electric utility vehicles. Overall, this is set to quadruple Bullhead Products' revenues. The products from both Firebug and the new Georgia acquisition will also be sold via Bullhead. Simultaneously, the products manufactured by Bullhead will allow the Georgian distributor to sell their products, which will include Firebug's innovative firefighting technology across the US. So what we are seeing here is a strategic acquisition that not only provides Ilus with US distribution, but also provides for synergy integration between the Ilus family of companies. I believe this acquisition is more about maximizing the capabilities of each company in the Ilus family rather than just adding a new company. Ilus is also in the final stages of acquiring manufacturing capability in Texas for its specialized firefighting pumps and equipment, with this deal at the conclusion stage. So we can expect to see more news from both the Texas and Georgia acquisitions in the coming weeks. Just think about the level of growth that Ilus is currently seeing. They had acquired 4 companies so far in 2021, but when all of these deals are done, that will be an additional 3 acquisitions in just a few weeks. And this is part of the triple-pronged acquisition strategy that has been to acquire manufacturing capability, technology advancements, and market knowledge for the design, manufacturing, distribution of existing and future products in the US. This is in addition to what the company has been achieving over the past few months around the world and is now in the process of acquiring large-scale manufacturing capability in Europe. Ilus is looking to acquire highly specialized technology companies to allow development of its IoT strategy for a fast and successful route to Nasdaq. The Georgia-based acquisition holds several exclusive distribution contracts and generates over $3 million in annual revenue. They have sold to hundreds of fire and rescue customers, but has never before been in a position to sell wildland firefighting vehicles or pumps, which can now be added to its product portfolio and sold to its large base of existing customers. Equally, Bullhead Products has a lot of fire and rescue customers, but has not been able to offer fire and rescue products that are seen in the Georgia distributors range. This will allow cross-pollination of both customers and products. So this is a vital part of the Ilus strategy. Not only does this acquisition bring new products, but with each acquisition the company is expanding the customer base for the products that are already within the company, and they're expanding the product range to the customers that they already have. This opens up a huge potential for the Ilus family. Although Bullhead currently services customers across the US and has supplied customers internationally, additional immediate plans for Ilus will be to promote the current products to truck dealers such as Ford, Dodge, GMC, where there has been interest in the past but not enough manufacturing capability to fulfill additional stock orders. So these are the kind of globally recognized customers that Ilus are trying to get, and this shows the level of potential that exists from these acquisitions. And then just yesterday, Ilus released a new letter to shareholders, so I'll cover just the key points from this. As you know, it has been an incredible busy week for us with acquisitions meetings, Nasdaq meetings, new technology meetings, interviews with new senior management hires. Nick is now on his way back from New York and will be continuing with the European acquisition amongst other things. You will have seen the progress we are making regarding acquisitions, and we will be making more announcements this week. The letter then continues to talk about the current acquisitions and the strategy and what this means to Ilus, so I won't go over that again. But yesterday, Jason was in Mississippi with the Bullhead GM working on the final stages of closing a $1.1 million order, so we are already working on ramping up sales opportunities. Now this is probably the most important part of this letter. We have just begun due diligence on a large acquisition with 9-figure revenues, which forms one component of our Nasdaq catalysts. Our third quarter filings take place on the 15th of November, at which point we will announce the full Q3 figures, and there's not too much we can say before then. The letter then goes on to summarise the previous quarter's progress, and Ilus will be presenting their Nasdaq plans. So let's go back to that 9-figure revenue acquisition. This is something that had caught my attention on Thursday, and this is of huge significance for Ilus going forward. Ilus had revenue in Q2 of 2.8 million. That is only a 7-figure revenue. 10 million would be 8 figures, so Ilus is in the process of acquiring a company that has revenue of over $100 million. That would be incredible to see, and I can't wait to hear more about this and how exactly Ilus are planning to achieve this. This does not quite fit in with the Ilus strategy that they have on their website. Ilus aims to complete further acquisitions of companies which possess innovative and disruptive technology and already achieve annual revenue of 1 to 10 million. So acquiring a company of this size is not keeping within the strategy that has worked so well in 2021, but at the same time this could be seen as a sign of the level of progression that the company is making. Then there's the fact that Ilus have assets totaling 25 million, of which less than $500,000 was in cash at June 30th. So how exactly are Ilus planning to fund this acquisition? This is something I'm not sure about. We could see Ilus make use of some of the Preference D shares that are owned by Nick Link. This is something that I spoke about in a previous video. There are 60 million Class D shares. Each one of these can be converted into 500 shares of common stock. So this has the potential to add 30 billion shares to the company float. Now Nick has said previously that these shares will never be sold, but he did say that they could be used from time to time for the purpose of expansion through acquisitions. So I'm very interested to see how exactly Ilus, a company with revenue of less than $5 million, will fund a major acquisition of a company with at least $100 million of revenue. If Ilus are to use these Preference D shares, then that will inevitably dilute the shareholding, which is not always necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, but there could be further consequences. It really depends on if Nick gets a value for money deal when acquiring this company. I look forward to seeing what they have planned. As they have said, they plan to uplist onto the Nasdaq, which, as we know, the company must satisfy a number of conditions to be eligible to even apply to uplist onto Nasdaq. As we can see here, there's a number of different ways to meet the conditions, but the one condition that must be satisfied is the minimum share price of $4. At the moment, Ilus share price is only 39 cents. So even if the company was to 10x in the coming months, that would still fall short of the $4 minimum price. That would also push Ilus up to a market cap of nearly $5 billion, which would be insane. And if the company do in fact use Preference D shares in order to acquire this $100 million company, then this would make getting to $4 a share even less likely. I think that the most likely way that we will see a Nasdaq uplist is if the company does a reverse share split. Although I think that in one of the previous shareholder letters, Nick Link said that Ilus have no plans to do this. The other option that has been mentioned in previous shareholder letters is to retire more shares. It will be very interesting to see what the company does throughout Q4, and I look forward to more press releases in the coming weeks. So guys, that brings us to the end of the video. If you've watched all the way through, then hit that like button. It really helps the channel out a lot. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification and follow me on Twitter. Catch you in the next one.